So that's really where we focused early on is how do we replace ribeye area as a conformational dimensional measurement. And that's why you're starting to see things like 3D image, and then also, of course, the CT scans that we've been working with now. But
tell us more about that, because what you're doing is quite the undertaking. You and the team that you just mentioned. And that was great that you mentioned. It is a very big collaborative network that's working together. But this is quite the undertaking, and I'm grateful that I've been allowed to send a student to kind of help out, and they've seen kind of what's going on. But talk about the materials and methods as we would in the animal science world of what it is that you're doing, and then let's get into how are we going to apply that.
Yeah, I mean, the reason it's such a big undertaking is because the traditional means of doing this type of work is a cut 'em and weigh 'em test.
Yep.
And when we go into a plant or a meat lab, doesn't really matter because we've done them in both places, and we try to measure the yield of an individual carcass, that means we have to have knives and scales. And disassembling or taking apart that carcass component by component, piece by piece, getting very granular and accurate measurements by weight of those carcasses takes a lot of hands, skilled hands on the cutting side for sure, and quick hands on this measuring or scale side to go with. So really what CT measurement is an X-ray. It's a type of X-ray where we're taking slice by slice measurements of the carcass. We take hundreds of slices, 2 millimeter, 4 millimeter, 8 millimeter thick, on the carcass to get compositional measure of those slices. And the way X-ray works is based on density. The term is Hounsfield unit, which is a direct measure of density on what we're calling a voxel, bivoxel basis. That's really synonymous with pixels on images. So basically it comes down to a very small subunit of that X-ray. And those subunits in most cases are a 2 millimeter cube or a 2 millimeter by 4 millimeter cube, where we have the ability with the X-ray to determine what the composition of that voxel is. And when I say that, we're characterizing muscle, fat, and bone on the basis of those density measurements. And then it becomes kind of like a Lego, experiment. So those voxels you could think of as chips or Legos, three-dimensional boxes that are determined as muscle, fat, and bone, and then they can be reassembled, as a Lego 3D toy.
Yeah.
And so each component or each voxel is muscle, fat, or bone reassembled in 3D. And then collectively we can put that carcass back together and say, okay, we have X number of units of muscle, fat, and bone. Because we have density, because we have volume, then we can compute mass. So it's,
and now you have three-dimensional measurements, whereas if you had to cut it and weigh it, intensive management of personnel and product and everything, you still don't have the dimension. Right. You just have the weight.
Right. Yeah, we've been really good at capturing single unit of the three dimensions over time. But now we have multiple dimensions that can go back together, which really kind of puts the data to life and makes it visual, but also makes it relevant to mass and volume. So it's really neat to look at the data. The data makes sense. Even sharing it with a lay crowd, they're like, oh, I can see what you're doing, and that makes logical sense. So communicating it and sharing it with the industry is pretty easy. And that's why I think we've had such a good success in people getting on board and saying, yes, what you're doing makes sense to us. We should move in that direction. We're able now, compared to the yield grade equation, we have much greater clarity, much greater accuracy of what the carcasses are actually made of. Problem is these X-ray technologies are not chain speed. We talk about chain speed in our industry. That's seconds per carcass, and we still need several minutes per carcass with the CT or even the other types of X-ray to resolve that data. So we're still talking about building algorithms, building equations for something like a rapid tool, like an image, a 3D image, that can be trained using the CT data. But what the CT data really does is replace that army, that workforce that it would require to disassemble the carcass, to weigh the carcass. Because what the CT can do is really replace that cutting test. So in a handful of minutes per carcass or per side, we can replace what would normally take 30, 40, 50 people in a plant on a dedicated day or a dedicated shift. And so we can capture that data with far fewer resources, at least in the way of people, to glean that data from every carcass. So the idea is once we prove the relationship between CT and the cut 'em and weigh 'em data, then maybe we can just run a CT scanner, with a handful of people operating that to gather what we're calling gold standard compositional data that can be used to train the next instrument, whatever that might be. I keep using 3D imaging as an example. I think that shows a lot of promise, but I couldn't guarantee that someone won't come up with something better, right? That can work just as fast or maybe even more accurately than what we've seen with the 3D image. But the point now is that the CT seems to be the gold standard measurement, or is quickly proving itself to be that. So we're expecting that, in the near future, months or years from now, we'll be, co-developing technologies with CT scans and whatever's next.